In this lecture, we're going to look at an awesome tool for reducing the bundle size of an application. Personally, it's one of my favorite tools. I'm referring to a tool called the Rollup plugin visualizer. In the resource section of this lecture, I provide a link to this package. This package is a plugin for the Rollup bundler. We're using Vite, not Rollup. Behind the scenes, Vite uses Rollup for building our projects. Therefore, plugins compatible with Rollup are compatible with Vite. We can borrow plugins from the Rollup community. This plugin will produce a UI for analyzing a bundle. It'll give us a better idea of how large your project is. Let's try using it. Switch over to the editor. In the command line, run the following command: npm i -d rollup plugin visualizer. Next, open the vite.config.js file. We must configure the plugin with Vite. At the top of the file, import a function called visualizer from the Rollup plugin visualizer package. Rollup plugins can be registered like Vite plugins. Scroll to the plugins array. At the bottom of the array, call the visualizer function. Just like that, the plugin will produce an HTML file for viewing the bundle size. However, the HTML file will not be opened in our browser. We can force the file to be opened by configuring the visualizer. Pass in an object. In this object, set the open option to true. We're ready to launch the plugin. This plugin does not run during development mode. It's exclusive to the build mode. Let's switch over to the command line. Build the project with the npm run build command. After a few moments, a new tab should open in your browser. We're presented with an overview of our project's bundle size. This type of chart is referred to as a tree map. Admittedly, it doesn't look like a tree because it's a bunch of rectangles. Tree maps display a hierarchy of data. In our case, the data are the packages and files in our project. If you've never read a tree map before, that's perfectly fine. Reading a tree map is simple. At the top left corner, the smallest files are presented on the tree. At the bottom right corner, we can find the largest files in our project. In most cases, you will want to focus on the larger files. As you can see, the node modules directory takes up most of the bundle size. Strangely, the Lodash module takes up a lot of space. If you think about it, we're not using it heavily. For example, we can hover over this package to view where it's being used. The size of the package is 0.5 MB. The bundle size should be smaller since we're using 2 functions. Let's try optimizing this package. Open the globals.js file. In this file, we're importing the entire Lodash package. Rather than importing an entire object, we should import specific functions. By doing so, Vite will only bundle the functions, not the entire object. Update these lines of code to import the camel case and upper first functions, respectively. After doing that, let's try building the package again. In the command line, run the npm run build command. This time, things are different. The Lodash module isn't taking up as much room as it did previously. In fact, you probably won't be able to see it if you're zoomed all the way out. As I stated earlier, files that take up the least space are placed in the left corner. If we look closely, the Lodash package can be found at the bottom left corner. According to these statistics, the size has been reduced to 25 kilobytes. That's a massive reduction from the full size, which was 500 kilobytes. By changing 2 lines of code, we were able to achieve this reduction. We're finished with optimizing the application. The process is basically the same for all modules. Search through the code and import only what you need. By limiting what you need, you can reduce the file size of your bundle. Be sure to read the documentation to make this process smoother. It'll make things less tedious. Before moving on, I recommend commenting the visualizer from the configuration file. We do not need the visualizer to be active. Remove it from the file before proceeding to the next lecture.